Former President Donald Trump has filed a claim demanding $10 billion from the U.S. government, $10 billion from American taxpayers. This is not a political talking point. This is a legal claim. If this claim succeeds, the money will not come from a private account. It will not come from campaign funds. It will come directly from the U.S. Treasury. And the U.S. Treasury is funded by one source, American taxpayers. That is why this Senate hearing immediately escalated, because lawmakers were not debating ideology. They were questioning whether a president can legally demand billions from the public treasury. And more importantly, whether anyone inside the system can stop that payment once the order is given, because if the claim is approved, the Treasury does not debate it. The Treasury sends it. First, let's watch this hearing. Then we'll break down the hidden reality behind what's really happening here.
We kind of touched on this earlier. In addition to being Treasury Secretary, you are serving as Acting Director of the IRS. So following up on Senator Kim's questioning, so you are fully aware that the President is suing your agency for $10 billion.
Yeah.
Would you agree that $10 billion is a good sum of money?
Yes, sir.
Where would that be cut from? Let's say for some reason he actually wins that lawsuit. Where would that $10 billion come from?
Again, it would come from...
Process-wise. I'm not asking like your opinion whether it's right or wrong.
It would come from Treasury.
It comes from Treasury, which comes from the general fund?
The Treasury general account.
So taxpayers?
Yes.
Thank you.
Part of the 440,000 taxpayers whose returns were leaked.
If the president, they're not suing, but if the president prevails in this lawsuit, he's going to be able to pocket that money. My question is the president, has anyone in the president's office talked to you about this lawsuit in any regard?
They have not, and the president has said he will donate the proceeds to charity. You may have missed that.
So no one at all has discussed this to you whatsoever?
No, sir, and the president said he will.
Have you received, I didn't ask any more questions. Have you received any advice from Treasury's legal division about how to handle this potential conflict?
This is a Justice Department matter. They represent Treasury in it.
Have someone from the Department of Justice actually come and talk to you saying that this is their purview and you need to stay out of it, or who has discussed to you what is your role in this?
Our general counsel, who's sitting behind me, has told me that it is a Justice Department matter. The Justice Department defends Treasury in matters like this.
Okay, so it has been discussed with you. Do you have any final say at all in the process of this, or is the DOJ just going to instruct you to cut a check and or settle, and you have no independence to actually make a decision whether or not the president deserves $10 billion?
Again, that is a DOJ matter.
And so the DOJ will entirely make that decision whether or not the president should receive $10 billion. You have no say at all.
Correct.
So you will just have to write the check if you were told to write the check.
Correct.
And you would write the check willingly if you're told by a DOJ to the president.
I will follow the law, Senator.
Okay. I mean, I think for many of us, this is very simple, and I think if this had been happening in any other countries, it would look an absolute, like a total shakedown of the American taxpayer. Are you also aware that President Trump has filed a claim seeking $230 million from the Justice Department for investigations conducted during his previous candidacy?
I'm unaware of the cumulative number.
Okay. So if the president wins or settles these claims, that money will come also from the Treasury Judgment Fund, which you do control. Have you recused yourself from any decisions about paying the president on these claims?
Again, I'll follow the law, and I'm not involved with any of this. It stems from justice.
So even though the Treasury Judgment Fund is called the Treasury Judgment Fund, you have no control over the Treasury Judgment Fund?
We act as paymaster.
So you will sign it then?
Sorry?
You will sign the check then? If you're a paymaster, you'd be the person's signature is to the Treasury Judgment Fund?
I would assume it would be a wire transfer.
Yes, I'm assuming we're not that old school.
Yep.
But that being said, so you have no say in this whatsoever. You will only basically follow what the DOJ says, but you're the person that actually is the final person that pushes send, essentially, on the wire transfer.
Yes.
And even if you feel or that it is unjust, the fact that this president is basically plundering U.S. taxpayer dollars, you will still hit that send button.
Even if I believe that 6103, the IRS tax code, was violated and 440,000 taxpayers were leaked.
So back to this other thing. So now you do believe, though, I mean, do you understand why some of us see a problem with that? And let me ask just a very simple question. Do you work for the President of the United States?
I work for the American people.
So can the president fire you?
Or he can.
He can fire you, correct?
Yes.
So isn't it a conflict of interest that you're going to be making these decisions and the president has full power over you?
I think you're confused, Senator. I am not part of the decision.
Well, you're certainly a person that send on the wire transfer, and I think that's why there's a lot of people that are actually
that is not part of the
do not
decision.
trust and do not trust the president's actually looking out his best interest.
I guess you were saying that
I'm controlling the time here.
Obeying the law.
I'm controlling. You're not obeying the law. You're plundering U.S. taxpayer dollars. Plundering U.S. taxpayer dollars. Plundering taxpayer dollars. Plundering. Thank you. You'll back.
To understand this case properly, we do not need to begin with politics. We need to begin with numbers. Because this is not about rhetoric, this is about money. Former President Donald Trump has filed a legal claim against the U.S. government seeking roughly $10 billion. This claim is not directed at a private company. It is not directed at an insurance fund. It is directed at the U.S. Treasury. If this claim is approved, the money will not come from a separate source. It will come from the U.S. Treasury. And the U.S. Treasury is funded by taxpayers. In the United States today, there are roughly 130 to 140 million individual federal taxpayers. If $10 billion is divided across that base, the result is an average burden of roughly $70 to $75 per taxpayer. That amount may not sound dramatic on its own, but at a national level, it represents a direct transfer of billions of dollars. Money moving from households to satisfy a single legal claim. This money would not come from disaster relief funds. It would not come from emergency war spending. It would not come from a private settlement pool. It would come from Treasury funds used to meet government legal obligations. $10 billion is equivalent to the annual budgets of multiple federal assistance programs combined. In some cases, it exceeds them. That amount aligns with funding levels for housing assistance. It aligns with energy assistance for low-income households. It aligns with community health and social support programs used by millions of Americans. When a payment of this size leaves the Treasury, the impact is not theoretical. It affects future budget decisions. Funds are finite. Money directed one way must be offset somewhere else. That is why this issue does not remain inside a courtroom. Its effects reach beyond legal filings. They reach everyday taxpayers. During the Senate hearing you just watched, the core issue was not partisan debate. It was process. Who decides and who pays? The Treasury Secretary stated clearly that the decision authority rests with the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice determines whether the government contests a claim, settles it, or pays it. The Treasury's role, by his own description, is that of a paymaster. That means if the Justice Department orders payment, the Treasury executes it. This is where the hearing became tense, because while the Treasury does not make the decision, it carries out the transfer. And the Treasury Secretary is appointed by the President, and the President retains the power to remove that official. That structure raised repeated questions from lawmakers. Does the Treasury Secretary have any discretion to stop the payment? Does he have any independence once the order is issued? The answer was clear: no. He would follow the law. And he would follow Justice Department instructions. On paper, that process may appear clean, legally defined, procedurally correct, but institutionally, this is where concerns arise. In this case, the claimant is the president himself. The payment system operates within the executive branch, and the official executing the transfer serves at the president's discretion. That overlap is why this issue is not merely legal. It is structural, it is ethical, and it is institutional. The situation becomes more serious when additional claims are considered. According to public reporting, Trump has also filed claims totaling roughly $230 million against the Department of Justice. Those claims stem from investigations conducted during his prior presidential campaign. If both the $10 billion claim and these additional claims were approved, total exposure would rise to approximately $10.23 billion. That would further strain the Treasury Judgment Fund, and it would further increase taxpayer exposure. Looking at public records and historical precedent, there is no clear example of a current or former president personally seeking billions of dollars directly from the U.S. Treasury. That absence of precedent is why legal analysts and former officials have described this case as extraordinary. The concern is not limited to how a court may rule. The concern is what follows if payment occurs. Would it establish a pathway for future office holders to leverage public funds for personal legal claims, even if technically lawful? For ordinary Americans, the implications are straightforward. If the payment occurs, the cost is absorbed by taxpayers. That cost may appear through increased fiscal pressure or through reduced funding for public services. Federal budgets are not unlimited. Large payments change priorities. This is why the hearing mattered. It was not theater, it was a warning. It tested whether safeguards exist when power and public money intersect. If this claim succeeds, its consequences will not stop at the Treasury Department. They will reach every taxpayer who contributes to the system. If you found this breakdown helpful, please support the channel by subscribing, sharing the video, and leaving your thoughts in the comments. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.